It's a cold world. It's -5 degrees Celsius in Houston. My camera froze during my 7-minute ice bath this morning, and I lost all the footage. So we're going to be taking another course at Suffering University by running it back with another 5-minute cold plunge. Well, at least the sun's out this time around. Okay. Hey, just how I remember it. So, I want to talk about Suffering University, the concept of Suffering University. Suffering University is a place where you can undergo Resiliency 2.0. Resiliency 2.0 is a concept that was created by happiness researchers. And essentially, Resilience 1.0 is when you put stress on a system, it returns back to the place, to its normal state that it was before it had the stress on the system. Resiliency 2.0 is when you put stress on a system, it comes back stronger with new properties and stronger than before it had the stress on it. And I really see any hardships in life as a place where you can, as really suffering university. I mean, when I think about the most monumental, the most memorable points of my life, it's always the parts where life was the hardest. And so, I would say that when I think about what's made me a better person, it's always those hard times. That's really what makes your life a great story. And so there was a moment when I didn't even realize at first that I lost my footage. So I did a 7-minute plunge already today, about an hour ago. And when I first got inside, I was like, let's go. And then I checked the footage and it just wasn't there. And I realized that my camera froze. It froze up and it just deleted all the footage. So, there was a moment there. It was like, okay, well, remember you're doing this for yourself and not for other people. So you don't need to post, it's okay. But I was like, or I can make it a win-win and really take it as an opportunity to, how about I run the cold water back? Because even though I do this cold water, it still causes that initial reaction of fear in my head. And so, yeah, I've never done a back-to-back cold plunge, but yeah, second time. I think you see the big thing. People ask me, why do you do cold plunges? The biggest reason is because you put in reps of doing something that's against your like barbarian like natural urges. So, naturally cold water's like get away, but you have to put in reps of working through that and putting in reps of working through fear for a higher purpose. So like my physical body doesn't know why I'm doing cold water, but my mental is controlling that and saying that this is for a higher purpose and really protecting that reason why I do this. And putting in reps of doing things for a higher purpose to me is such a great benefit. I mean, and I think the second biggest benefit, and I've said this before, is artificially creating the hardest part of your day is so powerful, because then when something else happens later that day, later that week, later that month, you'll be like, well, that is not as hard as the cold water that I did. At least often it's not as physically painful. And when you do this, you learn how you respond, and you have to learn to embrace. You have to learn to embrace the cold water instead of trying to fight it. Because if you try to fight the cold water, you're going to just start shivering, and the cold water is going to win 10 out of 10 times. And, I think it helps me, it puts in reps for how I also need to treat my emotions. I mean, same thing, if something happens and it causes like a knee-jerk reaction, a strong emotional reaction, if you don't embrace those emotions, they'll end up still staying with you. And instead, they'll just act like luggage, weighing you down. And it's not until you actually bring in and accept what you're feeling that you can actually work through them and stay calm and collected. So 30 more seconds. We're staying true to the 5 minutes today. We're going to go head underwater, which I will say, if you haven't done cold water before, be careful before you put your head underwater. I would say kind of ease into it. From what Serene taught me, who is the student under Wim Hof that taught me, it was that that's where the biggest benefits can come from, but it's also very intense. So let's finish off with the head underwater for the one time. For the two time, actually. This is for the two time today. Suffering University, you're a lot cheaper than college, the college I went to, and I think you're a lot better as well. So, another class done.